and they are, I call them the fuzzy monsters because they totally like fuzzy monsters. Like if you have to move them and the flower doesn't work and you have to move them, they totally act like a velociraptor octopus mix. Because first of all, they bite, they swipe, the one you disattach one leg from the branch, she gets attached back. So like, it's not an easy job to move these guys if they are not in a basket or something. Exactly. So also the two different sloths has a totally different lifestyle. First of all, the three-fingered sloth is a diurnal animal, is a daytime creature. The two-fingered sloth is a nocturnal animal, is a nighttime creature. So of course you can see these guys here are relatively active because they are kids. And you know from your own kids, if you have them, like those are active at nighttime, even though humans usually are diurnal creatures. So that's why you can see them moving around much more. So also they have very different diets, the two different sloths. The three-fingered sloth is a true vegetarian, is only eating leaves, and they have only 4 rows of grinder teeth. While these guys are nocturnal and also omnivore animals, which means everything eater. So these guys are eating from fruits, leaves, bird eggs maybe, maybe even a slow lizard if they can catch them. So these are having a very complex diet, and because they are predating as well, they have 4 extra teeth, which are basically like staple removers or fangs, kinda. Both sloths has ever-growing teeth. Is that stuck there? No, okay. So both sloths has ever-growing teeth. So even these guys, those fangs are ever-growing, and those are getting sharpened edge with every single chewing movement. So when these guys are biting, it's very, very dangerous. They can cause a very deep, pointy injury or even a tearing injury, and also their mouth is very dirty usually, and they always cause an infection as well after a bite. Our founder Leslie almost lost her arm due to a sloth bite because she got so badly infected. She needed 2 operations to save her arm, including a skin transplant, and she has a huge scar on her shoulder. So I do not recommend, if you see a sloth crossing a road, to try to pick it up and take it to the other side of the road. Try to get a huge branch and try to get the animal on that, and then take it to the other side of the road, or just block the traffic and wait till the sloth crosses naturally. The three-fingered sloth has a little bit more relaxed nature. They are more shy. You can pick those up, but I still do not recommend because they can grab your finger, they can break your finger, so like it's not a pleasant experience. Also, sloths can get stressed very easily and they can get a heart attack relatively easy as well, so it's better to leave them alone and just do whatever they want to do.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
How old are these?
These ones, by the size of them, the smallest one is maybe 5 months, the biggest one is maybe 8. We have a school system for sloths because we have different periods in their life, just like humans have different periods in their life. So when they are really small and they are having milk every 2 to 3 hours or every 5 hours, they are in elementary school or preschool, and they are living in buckets. We've tried to put the similar age sloths together, so they cuddle each other. They don't want them like that much like a mom figure for them, and also they keep each other warm. But for those babies, we always put hand warmers or a heat pot under the bucket to make sure they are warm enough. Then, when they are not just living in a bucket, they are climbing on the structures and they are having milk just a few times a day. Then they are in elementary school, when they totally weaned off from milk and they move confidently on the structure. Then they are in high school and they are not even sleeping in a closed area anymore, like in the house, in a sloth house. They are sleeping outside here in the property in cages. So then they are in high school, and when they prove they can move perfectly and they can forage themselves as well, we take them to our release site, which is in Zarapiki, where they are in huge cages, and they are allowed to move in the big cage. We have trees in it. We have access much more different kind of leaves there, so they can have those ones too. And when they are roughly 2 years old, they get a radio collar and they get released. We use a soft release technique, which means we just open a part of the cage where they can go in and out naturally to the forest. and we start to monitor them what they are doing. So right now we have a morning sweep and an afternoon sweep to check on every single animal that we released. And after 5 months, if they healthy, they don't lose weight and so on, we remove the radio collar and they are good to go wherever they want. Sometimes we see them like they are coming back even after a few years, we see them passing through, but fortunately our sloth release rate is super high, is 98% of the sloths can be released back to the wild, that is made through the school system. From all the youngsters what we have, only one of them is non-releasable because that's totally blind. But even if they are just half blind sloths can be released because they do really well on one eye as well. We released actually a sloth, that's an adult three-finger sloth, which arrived here with a face look like burger meat basically. We don't know what attacked to that animal, but we were super lucky because we got donated stem cells and we were able to use stem cell therapy on a sloth, and the skin grew back on the head.
Wow.
There's no more bone visible. He's got blinded on one eye, the attack happened, but the other eye is functional, so we were able to release that sloth. And normally an adult sloth after recovery don't get a radio collar, but because of the extent of the injury of that sloth, he's got a radio collar. And now he's with a radio collar for 3 months roughly, and he's doing beautifully in the wild. So hopefully we are going to be able to remove the radio collar soon, and he is totally good to go wherever he wants. When
Do they have fear?
Say again?
Would it have fear of being attacked again? Like, is it?
That's possible. Actually, the sloths, that is when they are getting attacked mostly when they are on the ground, because they go down to the ground to go to a toilet. Because they store up so much pee and poo in their body, and because they cannot run away, they don't pee and poo on the tree. They go down, and that is basically when they are peeing, pooing, they are kind of in a trance situation kind of stuff. So what they do, they go down to the ground, they grab on the tree trunk, or they lie flat on the ground, and then they start to do a bit of wiggle, twerking with their butt. Then they close their eyes, and after that you can see a face expression, what we call the poop face, because it's like seems they are in trance, or like when you have a really long car ride and you arrive to that petrol station, like, finally. So like, and also that peeing pooing session is not a fast one. They can pee and poo for like over 10 minutes, because an adult sloth can store up 2 liters or 4 pints of pee and 1 kilo or 2 pints of poo. So to release all that, it takes a while. So that's why that is when they are the most vulnerable. So when we receive sloths, many times they get attacked by stray dogs maybe. Sometimes even an ocelot maybe attack them, or some bigger cats, but it's very rare. Also we receive, because many of them get electrocuted unfortunately on the power lines when they are moving. And we receive sloths from poaching situations. Also, we receive sloths from car accidents, like road accidents, unfortunately. When we feed the babies with milk, we give them raw goat's milk with a dash of pedalite in it. Goat's milk is naturally lactose free, also is much more rich than cow's milk. That's why we use raw goat's milk. We put the Pedialyte in the milk because they need some extra vitamin and minerals as well, because the sloth milk is very, very rich. No, not eating the